Hi, Pastor Ralph with you again today. For the rest of this set of reflections leading up to Easter, I thought I would follow along in Jesus' path laid out in the Gospel of Luke. So I'll be doing things fairly short passage by short passage following the way of Luke, starting with a rather significant statement in this Gospel. As the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. So we're going to be reading these passages in light of Jesus heading towards Jerusalem. In other translations, you might remember something like Jesus set his face towards Jerusalem. But he has in mind that he is headed to Jerusalem, where he's going to be betrayed, where he's going to be crucified, but also where he'll be resurrected. It's got to be one of those confusing times if you're a follower and you can't quite get hold of everything that Jesus is saying. There were people that were around Jesus who were interested in him. Perhaps they brought with them a lot of thoughts about what Jesus would be about, and perhaps they put into Jesus some hopes they had for what he would do for his people, that Jerusalem, that Israel would be lifted up again, taken out from under the oppressiveness of the Romans. We're not always sure where people are as they approach Jesus, just as we ourselves sometimes don't know exactly what it is that we need from Jesus. Sometimes we want to receive from Jesus things that are not good for us, or that in our best place of faith we know he doesn't intend for us. But hear these words in Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. As they were walking along the road, a man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." He said to another man, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Still another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." Jesus replied, "No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God." Clearly, there are people who want to come along with Jesus, but their priorities are not the same as Jesus. One, perhaps, in Jesus' response, has been hoping for the good path and the path towards power and restoration. And Jesus declares, "I'm a person that doesn't have a place to lay my head." That's a vulnerable person. It's not a powerful person. It's not somebody who is heading down a path of glory. And for some Christians, there is that hope that it's a glorious path. But our path seems to be more and more one of service, of being Christ-like. And what exactly to make of the other two, let the dead bury their dead, or let me say goodbye to my family? It still seems that if you're going to follow, and especially in the context of Jesus going to Jerusalem, the time to follow is now. There isn't time to turn away and to go back and take care of other business. It's not a time to set one's affairs in order. It is a time to pick up and get moving. Perhaps that's a thought for us. Are there some things in our lives that have a greater place than they ought to have? Is there a certain quality to God's call to us to take some action that we're not really inclined to take? This is a season to be reflecting on these things. How will we strengthen our walk with God? How will we open ourselves to God, perhaps in new ways and in deeper ways, to continue to be changed? So as we continue our journey to Jerusalem with Jesus, let us continue to reflect on God's call for us and God's claim on our lives. All right, we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.